The order, please take the roll.
As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county YouTube page. Calling the roll for Mr. Schran.
Here.
Ms. Baker.
Here.
Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Ms. Simon.
Here.
Ms. Stevens. Ms. Stevens is absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there any public comment anyone signed in for?
No, Mr. Chair, no one has signed in for public comment.
Okay. There's minutes of the October 3rd meeting have been submitted to everyone. Does everybody have a chance to look at them?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The minutes are approved. We have two items that have been referred to the committee. So if we can read the first one into the record, that'd be great.
Resolution 2022-0350, awarding a total sum not to exceed $250,000 to the Cuyahoga County Public Library for the Solon Innovation Center project from the District 6 Arpa Community Grant Fund.
Thank you. Is there someone here to speak on behalf of this from the library?
Good afternoon. I'm Tracy Strobel. I'm the Executive Director of the Cuyahoga County Public Library. I have a few slides that I hope to show you about our project. So we have been discussing this project with the City of Solon for a number of months now, and we're very grateful for the opportunity to apply for and be given the opportunity to receive funding to make this project happen. This partnership will allow us to build an innovation center and additional meeting spaces at the Solon branch on Ports Parkway in order to encourage and nurture the most in-demand manufacturing skills that local businesses in Solon are seeking to help meet the demand for their products. We'd like to inspire and educate students about career pathways in manufacturing and open access to equipment and training opportunity that supports regional workforce development. So we're working with expert partners like Magnet, who will provide some training and programming within the space. We are emphasizing digital literacy so that those that are unemployed and underemployed can find higher skill workforce placement and improve their life status, and also collaborating with Tri-C and other partners to provide STEM programming for all ages. Sample equipment that will be located in this new space, laser engraver, 3D printer, embroidery and sewing machines, will provide access to the full Adobe Illustrator suite of software, vinyl printer, cutter, sublimation printer, garment printers, crickets, so that all of the equipment can be utilized by the entire community and those visiting the Solon branch to help support their small business and improve their skill sets. You can see that the project will build upon the existing branch in Solon. You can see the circled white area is a branch expansion that will include the Innovation Center, classroom space, and collaboration spaces. The budget for the project is listed here, and you can see that the county ARPA funds will be very helpful in making this happen. The library has committed to $2.6 million for this project, and the City of Solon, $1 million. We've received state capital funds and then grant funding, support from our own County Library Foundation. So we're well on our way to funding this project in full. Happy to answer any questions you might have and excited to get the project started.
Questions by anybody? Yes, go ahead, Ms. Baker.
Thank you. Wow, what a project. I love it. I'd love to see dollars spent going in this direction to get those that need the workforce training, especially when we're talking manufacturing. You know, I've always said, and even during my days at the State House, that libraries are more than books. And the president of the library said to me, should we be coming down to Columbus to advocate for our library? And I said, absolutely, you should be. We need to hear what you're doing beyond what people perceive a library is doing with books, because you do so much more. I mean, workforce training and tutoring and sharing of resources and job placements. And I mean, the list is incredible what our libraries do beyond what the traditional thought is. And here is just another really outstanding example of what our public libraries are doing to step up to help. I'm not sure if I really have any questions. I think that it looks like our $250,000 for these ARPA dollars are finishing your project, not beginning or even middle. So you've got your financing in place for the most part?
We do have enough certainly to get started and to complete the project. We're hoping to also receive some earmarked funding at the federal level. But yes, we're very much near completion of funding the project.
Is it the 5.2 million, the complete total, or is there more that's needed on top of that?
That would be at the far end, yeah.
Far end, okay. Well, congratulations. It looks like a project that will certainly enhance the lives of many.
Thank you, yes.
And going in a direction that we here in Cuyahoga County need to go to make sure that people have the tools they need to get a good paying job. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman, for that recognition. We're very proud of the Innovation Center in the Bay Village branch that we recently opened. You may have
Absolutely. I
seen.
was just there for the ribbon
Right.
cutting. Very exciting.
Extremely popular, and Solon needs one too.
Yep. Thank you for that. You're right.
Thank you.
That was exciting to see that too.
Mr. Trimmer?
Thank you. Through the chair, it's more of a comment, just like my colleague here. It's looks like a very exciting project, very forward-thinking, and I like the fact that there's a nice public-private partnership here going on. And I wish you guys a lot of success and a lot of luck. And this is exactly what these ARPA dollars are intended for. Projects like this that we call transformative projects, and this is certainly one of those projects. So good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you. We're both proud and grateful to make good use of these dollars, so.
What's the size of the space? Did I miss that on any of your slides? The square footage?
The current branch is 25,000 square feet, and this addition will be an additional 3,500 to 5,000 square feet.
Okay, all right, so you're going to be adding about 20, not quite 20%, okay. And how about, are there going to be user fees charged for some of
Oh,
this?
no, absolutely not. We do cost recovery if someone uses our materials when they're making something.
Right.
But the actual use of the equipment, the training, the classes are all free of charge.
So if they're using ink, or they're using paper, or they're using something that's going to be cut out?
Filament within the 3D printer or sheet metal in the laser engraver, anything like that, we recover just our cost.
Okay.
But everything else is free of charge.
Well, talk to some of the companies down the street. Some of them might have scrap.
Absolutely,
That you might find
yeah.
that they can cut out and
Excellent.
put in there. Swagelok and Kennametal might have pieces of material that, rather than have it go to a landfill, they just as soon have it
Good
go to you
point, yeah.
folks and
Good
end up in useful programs. What I saw there was a cost breakdown, it sounded like for capital. Is there a capital, is there a breakdown for programs too? Is there a program budget?
So the library itself, within our operating budget, has a programming budget that's not added into the cost of this project overall. And we're working with partners like Magnet and Tri-C to provide programming as well.
Okay, so your cost on this project is strictly to do the bricks and mortar?
Correct, and the equipment within. Mhm.
Yeah, right, and
Yep.
the capital equipment going in?
Yes.
But that doesn't include your instructor's time, it doesn't include any of the ancillary things that are coming from the library? Is that where the source is going to be for?
Correct.
the
So
STEM?
our library staff have pivoted in the work that they do to provide basic training on these tools and equipment, and then we work with community partners like the corporate community or the education community, and it's in their interest as well to come in and provide these classes and courses because it exposes the participants to the resources that they have and provide. So we've been successful with these kind of partnerships before where, for example, a Tri-C will come in and do some basics, have the opportunity to connect with students, and with the hopes, of course, that they become Tri-C students.
Well, that whole strip is just loaded with businesses there
Right,
that I'm
and
sure would love to actually
absolutely.
volunteer time. Because
Exactly, right.
They want to experience and
And we have had great conversations with some of those businesses like Swagelok, like Nestle, who are excited to contribute the time of their experts to help expose
Yep.
the community to their
Making
their
food is just
resources.
another form of manufacturing where you're mixing ingredients and it
Right,
comes out with a
right.
product and it comes out as a cake at some point in a long time or some other edible product out there. In regards to what this is different, you had to compete also internally within Solon for them to be convinced that this was the best project for Solon. Were there other projects that you might be aware of that were under consideration that or also had merit, not as good as yours, of course?
I know there's a lot going on in Solon, and I know that for a couple of years now, they have been looking at creating a space themselves, independent of the library system, to inspire manufacturing skills and create spaces for small businesses, startups, et cetera. But when they realized the cost of doing something independent of the library, and they realized, of course, that we were eager to partner with them, and that, of course, the building is there, it's open 65 hours a week, 7 days a week, they realized what a smart partnership it would be, that they wouldn't have to keep the lights on in a separate facility. Coming together with the library would allow them to reach their goals of providing these services for residents, along with our goals of expanding their services.
Yeah, I know Mayor Kraus picked this as one of his project he wanted to see promoted for ARPA dollars in Solon. So I'm sure there's other good quality projects out there he could have picked also, but I know that he thought this had a lot of excitement to it.
Yeah, he's been a fantastic supporter of the entire idea.
Any other questions based on mine? No. Is there any? Oh no, we're always taking 3 steps. So you're gonna have to go through the 3-step process. The chair will move to adopt this for a second reading before the full council at our next meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this for a second reading, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. There you go. You made it to the second step.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Resolution 2022-0363, allocating capital funds in the total amount of $3,087,283 in support of the Veterans Service Commission of Cuyahoga County's headquarters project, determining the services and programs that shall be provided and funded from the Veterans Services Fund in 2022, authorizing payments to various providers in the total amount of $1,009,960 for said services and programs for the period ending December 31st, 2023.
Please go ahead. Now, it looks like this is a different proposal than what you proposed in the past, is it not? It has a piece of capital in there for the Veteran Service Commission.
Yes, and I'll get into that. Just for the record, my name is Michael King, council
sorry about
staff. And yes, I'm here today to present this year's proposed Veteran Service Fund awards. And just sort of providing some context. As a reminder, the Veteran Services Fund was established in 2012, so today, this year is the 10-year anniversary. Yeah. And it's meant to reinvest surplus dollars that go unspent by the Veteran Service Commission in previous years to programs that support services to veterans within the county. Over the past decade, that surplus has varied significantly, but it's typically fluctuated between about $300,000 and $700,000. The past 2 years have seen much larger surpluses, primarily due to the pandemic. In 2021, there was a surplus of just over $4 million, which is a lot more than we've seen in the past. And the proposal before you today would allocate roughly 3/4 of that amount to support capital needs of the Veteran Service Commission's office space. As you may recall, $1 million was allocated last year to purchase their new property, and that purchase was completed in April of this year. So 3 of the $4 million of the unspent money from last year is being proposed to go back into their capital needs. The remaining $1 million would go to the various providers that are being proposed in this legislation, many of which should look familiar to you as they've been awarded in years past. All but 2 of the recipients on the list have received an award in previous years. The 2 new recipients are for capital needs for the Highland Heights Veterans Peace Memorial in the amount of $20,000 and the Greater Cleveland Veteran Memorial for just shy of $30,000. And both of those are for capital restoration needs. The remaining items are listed in the resolution. If you have any questions about them, I'd be happy to take those. But that is the proposal we have before you today.
Questions by anybody?
No questions, just thank you. I'm glad we have the land bank back in here to help with veteran housing that we started with, and glad to see the Highland Heights Memorial.
You know, it might be interesting. When you get to events like 10 years, decades of continually doing something, and I've mentioned this to some of my colleagues in other counties, and they're just shocked. They have no idea that we're doing this. And I said, it's easy. You can do the same thing. Mr. and Mrs. Lake County, Cuyahoga County, Summit County, get off your butt and don't roll it back into your general fund. This belongs to all the veterans. And I wonder if we could, sometimes Cuyahoga County, we take some heat for other issues. This is one in which we could actually go out and do a statewide program to say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is 10 years. Here's who we've awarded to over the last 10 years. And that's a good thing. And why don't you get off your butts and actually do the same thing rather than roll this stuff in your general fund? How hard would that be for us to bring up the 10 years worth of background on this?
Yeah, I mean, we have records of all the awards we've made over the past 10 years. A lot of them to the same providers because they've done good work. But yeah, we definitely have all that information and can put it together.
Seems to me that it's a good thing, and why not sing it from the rooftops and encourage other communities, or the other 87 counties, to do the same thing. It just seems to me it's so logical that why on earth should any of this go back into the general fund? It was always intended for veterans. It should be for veterans. And my hat's off to you folks for doing this. The capital, will this be a regular thing? The capital equipment requests are going to come in?
My expectation is no. I don't know. We can ask the Veteran Service Commission, sort of what their projected capital needs. My understanding is that these capital dollars are one time to help build out the space for the new building that was purchased earlier this year. And I believe they've included something in their budget for this year for capital as well. So it's part of a capital plan.
The one thing that bothers me a little bit is that they have so much in reserves that came out this year that didn't get utilized. Is that a function still of the pandemic at this point?
I believe so, and part of the reason I think they couldn't dedicate it to capital last year, and Trevor can correct me if I'm wrong, but was that they hadn't purchased the site yet, and so it went unspent last year. They weren't able to dedicate it to capital, and they weren't able to spend it on programming due to the pandemic. I think my understanding is they had fewer applicants just because of the pandemic.
It seems to me that homeless veterans and all the other needs would have been increased during the pandemic as opposed to not putting the demand on these dollars and to get utilized.
Yeah.
It strikes me as it would have been a place that veterans would have found a way to say, hey, let's find a way to get these dollars into a veteran's hands.
Mr. Chair, if I can add, Trevor Meckler, County Council staff. So as a reminder, we're talking about 2021 leftover dollars, which was the highest leftover amount that we have seen in the last decade.
Right.
2022 projected leftover dollars is significantly less. So they've seen the numbers tick back up to average,
okay.
Correct. And as Mike mentioned, they're going to use approximately $1 million out of their current year's budget for capital. So there's going to be close to $5 million total for the build-out space. And I think there's probably going to be a couple $100,000 left over to kind of get back to that normal amount that council has seen over the course of the last 10 years.
Are we going to have any supervisory authority to watch how they're spending these capital dollars on the build-up?
Yes, Public Works is running that project.
Good, all right. Good to hear that.
And the contract will come forward to you for the actual build-out costs.
Oh,
And
will?
yeah, so
Okay.
they're
All right.
it's Public Works' project.
Thanks. Any other questions in regards to?
Just one quick one, just so I understand the money. So is it 5 million altogether that's being proposed, including the 1 million that was purchased for the property?
For this year, it's just $4 million. There was $1 million included in last
year.
year's Veteran Service Fund awards that went to capital for purchase of the
So
property.
the 3 million to build and then the 1 million for the property, does that take care of their needs to get this done for capital piece?
Councilwoman, Public Works is still working with the Veteran Services Commission to come up with a final price. I don't know if it's going to be enough. I think they will come to this body and potentially be requesting more, but they have not finalized that number. So the $1 million was for the purchase.
Right.
That already took place. I think the purchase price council approved at 1.7, if I remember correctly. So $700K come out of the Veteran Services Commission budget. The price tag to build out the facility is still, I would say, near a final draft, but they don't have an exact number yet. And I anticipate them coming, asking for even some additional dollars.
And does the operating piece, because is there going to be something that will be also added because of the
No,
extended?
they have so right now they pay operating dollars, just for their current space.
Right.
That will come out of their existing
Okay.
budget that they get every year. So
They're
it won't be an
closing-
additional amount.
Are they closing one place and moving into another?
Correct. They currently lease the space over by the Wolstein Center, and then the county will own the new space that they
I
bought.
see. Good, thanks for clearing that up, I appreciate it. Good project.
Other questions? Hearing none. As far as the build-out of this property, and you know that we've just had some discussions about another property here in town that seemed to be under budget based on the inflationary costs of concrete and rebar and all the other things. Is this going to have an impact on this space? This is really building out inside of an existing structure, is it not? The shell already exists?
That's correct.
That's a
Mr.
lot
Chairman.
cheaper than having
They're
a-
building out the inside space.
Yeah, okay, that's all.
Furniture, moving walls, computers, everything, they have to do all that.
Okay, but that's a lot less risk than if you had to pour a foundation, do footers, do all that kind of stuff that.
Correct, but I do think you're right. I think some of the reasons why the final price has not been provided yet is I think they're seeing an increase. So they're reviewing everything with Public Works, trying to keep that cost down.
Yeah, well, the prices are going to go both directions. They're going to start falling too before long, unfortunately. Any other questions?
Just curious, what's the square footage that we're going to be utilizing? Is it much bigger than what we've had?
It's more space than they currently have. We can get you the square footage from Public Works.
I just wonder if it's.
We'll get you that. I don't remember what it was. It was presented in Public Works Committee a
Yeah.
couple, almost now 6 months
Wonder if
ago.
it's a
but-
large, yeah, difference in square footage, or is it the same, or just curious to know how much bigger it is, probably the more it may cost also to operate.
We'll get you that. I don't remember what it was.
And these are not ARPA dollars. These are veteran service dollars. So it seems to me that it would be beneficial for some of these projects, as I'm reading it, to get ahead of the weather, if we could. Is there any reason that we would want to move it for a second reading exemption?
I would appreciate if the committee would recommend second reading adoption, but it's obviously up to the committee.
Sure.
I think the faster we can get these dollars out to, particularly the ones that are for capital, for the veterans memorials and others, that might be helpful.
Yeah, and we know that the costs are going to go up the longer it takes. So if we can get it out there in 2 weeks. The chair will move to bring it for second reading suspension. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of this going before the full council for a second reading suspension, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. This is a big project, and I know you folks have to do a lot of work to pick out. It's really hard when you got all kinds of great projects to go out there for, and all have great benefits. So with that, is there anything more come before the committee? Any miscellaneous business? Hearing none.